It's Friday. We made it to the end of the week. I hope your week was good. Ready for the weekend. Before we go into the weekend, I still haven't figured out exactly what to call these episodes. I had some really good suggestions from the listeners, whether it was Malfunction Friday, Single Shot Friday, Bolt Action Friday. I think what might encapsulate it best, though, is Negligent Discharge Friday with young Michael Shelton. And he and I were talking about, we walked over here from the coffee shop. We were both talking about it. More enjoyable than I thought it would be to just not only answer some of the questions that I get in a Full Auto Friday segment or series, but bounce off him, who, dude's 20 years younger than I am, a different vernacular, a different social circle. I don't want to say different moral values because I don't think that's the case, but different interests, different story arc of their life, and to get his take on things that seem reasonable to me, straightforward to me, and hear from a different perspective, a different generation, how he is feeling about it. Now, having said that, he's like a 90-year-old trapped in a 23-year-old's body. A guy goes to bed at 8 o'clock and gets up at 4 a.m., getting after it in his own words. So there's that. But yeah, it's enjoyable. I'm definitely going to continue to do these, and I think I'll stick with Negligent Discharge Fridays with young Michael. So before we get into it, though, give me 90 seconds of your time. Let me pay the bills here real quick. That way I can keep bringing the podcast to you for free. Today's episode is brought to you by TrueWerk, and they are hell-bent on creating the most technical, high-performance workwear in the world. Now, before you go Googling that, it's a little bit of a unique spelling. I'll get to that at the end. The TrueWerk story begins in the Colorado Mountains, where a trade worker knew that there had to be a better solution than the wet, heavy gear that was weighing him down, and that is how TrueWerk was born. They sent me some product. It's actually probably one of the coolest things about being able to do these ad reads is you get product. I am actually wearing some of their pants right now. These are the work pants that they sent me, and let me tell you, I don't need another pair of pants in my life. I have plenty of pants. I have jeans. I have all sorts of variety of workwear pants. It is -5 right now where I live in Kalispell, Montana, and these are the pants that I chose to put on. These have actually been through the wash a few times because I've been wearing them consistently since I got them. They're awesome. They're durable. They're comfortable. They stretch. The pockets are in the right spot. Pocket for my phone. All sorts of stuff. Definitely well thought out. Purpose designed and purpose created. Denim and cotton, they haven't changed much over the past 200 years. So TrueWerk has upgraded traditional classics by using some of the same fabrics worn by elite outdoor athletes. They are soft, stretchy, and sweat-wicking soft shells, which that is what I'm wearing. It's hard to tell by just listening, though. The pants are a major upgrade over wet and heavy jeans. I couldn't agree with that more. Their wind and waterproof shells use intelligently placed insulation for streamlined warmth that lets you stay mobile and agile. TrueWerk has over 50,000 five-star reviews and countless stories from trade pros in every state and every job across the country. Upgrade to TrueWerk for a major change in the way that you work. TrueWerk helps you be your best when the best matters most. Here is their offer. You can check out the full lineup and get 15% off of your first order at truewerk.com/clearedhot. Now, I said there's a unique spelling. That's 15% off at TrueWerk. Tango Romeo Uniform Echo, Whiskey Echo Romeo Kilo.com/clearedhot. Their products are fantastic. Give them a try. Back to the show.
Okay, got the red smoke. Gun run, north or south, west of the smoke, west of the smoke. Okay, copy, west of the smoke. I'm looking at danger close now. Come on with it, baby, give it to me, I need it. Get cleared hot. Copy, cleared hot.
You ready?
I'm ready. We're recording.
How come you're not wearing headphones?
Don't need them.
You wear them for every other episode when there's somebody here.
The last time I was here, or we were doing this and I wore headphones, you were like, why the fuck do you have headphones on?
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't have any memory of that whatsoever. I'm going to go review the tape on that.
Okay.
I don't think that I did.
I think it was the last Andy versus Michael, not the last Bolt Action Friday.
Is that what we settled on?
I think so.
I got some good suggestions. One of them was Negligent Discharge
That's hilarious.
Friday.
That's a good one.
Yeah, they were referring to you, but
I know. I figured.
Did I give you shit for wearing headphones?
Yeah. I was like, I put them on and you were like, why the fuck are you wearing headphones? And I was like, no reason. It's just a habit. But I really don't need to if it's just us two.
All right.
So
I'm not sure that I actually said that to you. I don't think I would speak to you in that way, but
no, of course not.
we were talking this morning when you were working security at the coffee shop, waiting for people to come up and ask you to take a picture with you, which is one of your favorite things. You try to pretend like you don't like it.
It's actually never happened, thank God.
Which is wild because I have asked people if they want a picture with you because I notice how awkward and uncomfortable that it makes you.
Yeah,
so
very.
And you were saying you liked the format we did for the Negligent Discharge Friday versus Annie versus Michael. I'm curious as to why.
Well, I mean, I like both of them. I like the Negligent Discharge because I don't know what is coming questions wise. And so I just have to like kind of think on my feet a little bit and give my opinion.
I think we're generationally helping people. You got a guy who's close to death due to old age, and you at 23, just in the early journey of your life.
Yeah.
So
very.
Okay, this one, we're going to kick it off. This one, as I was screen capturing this, and I do that so I don't accidentally read names or email addresses.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly like Ron Burgundy. I won't read everything that's put in front of me, but I will make a mistake if I'm kind of just like on a roll reading it.
That's a movie I have seen.
Yeah. Have you seen them both?
Yes.
Cool. Which one do you think was better?
First one.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
For sure. I feel like you might have submitted this under a fake name.
I can guarantee you I didn't, but let's hear it.
Okay. I was requesting some insight into relationships. I'm having some trouble making friends and being social in general. I feel like I try to be nice to people at work and life and get totally disrespected in return, to the point of people calling me stupid to my face. I feel like I try to put on a happy-go-lucky attitude, and I met every day with people shitting on me. It's kind of bumming me out. And then there was a second email that said, I think I might have undiagnosed autism. If you ever want to talk about this stuff, you can just pull me aside. You don't have to submit an email in the hopes that I might see it and bring it up on a Friday episode.
Well, yeah, I was just afraid to come to you with it, and so
But yet here we are.
Wrote a fake email.
I tell you what, man, I remember being younger and struggling with a sense of being comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
And being comfortable with who I am as a person. I don't think I really nailed that in my 20s. I don't even know if I would say I felt comfortable being who, I don't know the right way to say it, who I felt or feel like I am. Basically just accepting and knowing that you're not everybody's cup of tea, right?
Yeah.
And what's the saying? I'd rather be somebody's shot of whiskey than their cup of tea, whatever it may be.
Okay.
But in my 40s, it has been easier to just slide into a place of this is who I am.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to please everybody. And I look back, though, I'm going to guess that this person is a little bit younger in life, which is why I'm going to kick this question towards you, since you're obviously the author.
Of course.
What are your thoughts? Social circles, relationships? Because again, I think there's another dynamic to this. And maybe people are tired of hearing about this dynamic, but the social media interaction and that type of interaction and the way that you can talk or the things that people will say, it doesn't really work in real life, in my experience, depending on how you act online. If you're thoughtful, if you can take a breath and not respond to something emotionally, if you follow my personal elevator principle, which is you don't say something to somebody online that you wouldn't say to them if you were trapped in an elevator.
Yeah.
That I think makes it a little bit easier. But if you live in, and maybe most of your social interaction is online, I feel like, you could have an ability to have a difficulty connecting with people in the real world. Yeah. Your generation grew up with both. I'm curious your thoughts on this. I'm going to guess
this individual.
I'm going to say I think it was a young man. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to put a label on it. What do you think? Are you comfortable in your own skin?
Almost always, yes. I mean, there are scenarios where like it hasn't happened in a while actually, but I would say up until like 2 years ago, I was definitely wouldn't say uncomfortable, but like as confident in who I am,
What changed it for you 2 years ago?
I mean, not a specific event, but like it's just a gradual.
Yeah.
And I think 2 years ago it just reached the point where it was like, okay, yeah, I'm comfortable like who I am as a person, and that at that kind of turning point, I noticed a big difference in just social interactions in general, because I wasn't like afraid to actually talk to somebody that I didn't really know that well, and just make conversation. That made a big difference. But I also will say that, because this guy said he tries to be like nice and overly nice.
I was going to hit on that. And people are calling him stupid to his face.
That is crazy. I don't know who he's interacting with, but that's
the route I was going to go with.
Yeah.
Perhaps the people that you are interacting with are not your crowd or crew.
Yeah.
People have done some very stupid things around me. And I'll flip that coin and be very clear. I've done some really fucking stupid things around other people. Yeah. There's almost, though, a sense of like social courtesy where you don't say that to somebody unless they just kind of keep pushing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am fascinated to know the social circle that this person is interfacing with. My first piece of advice would be, whoever these people are that are calling you stupid to your face, put them in the category of people that are not meant to be in your life. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's just hard stop that right there. Maybe they're I don't know. Maybe all of these people are 18 years old. Maybe this whole social circle is in their late teens, early 20s. I don't know, but of the billions of people that are on Earth, I guarantee you can find a social group that's not going to call you stupid to your face.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I wouldn't tolerate that. I'd be like, okay, I guess you guys aren't my peeps.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, maybe I am stupid and I can accept that, but I will just go hang out with people that can at least pretend for a few moments and not call that to my face.
Yeah. I will also say, though, that if you are being overtly nice to a point where it's like you're playing it up,
like it's fake.
Yes, that can come off as off-putting.
Well, it comes off as what it is. It comes off as fake, and it comes off as somebody who is, I would say, trying too hard. I understand that their intent is not malicious, but it does, in my own experience, when I'm around people like that, it makes me question why they are behaving that way.
Yes.
I'm not going to call them stupid to their face, but I am going to put up a little bit of a boundary of having any interaction with them.
So I think maybe another, I don't know, I guess tip or whatever is like, maybe play it down just a little bit. You have to kind of find a middle ground where you're not coming off as an introvert, but you also are not playing it up so much where it makes people uncomfortable.
How do you find that balance? Because my favorite thing to do at social circles and in social situations is go sit by myself. You know this because you've seen me at them. Yeah.
No, I have done that as well. But to find that balance is honestly just trial and error. Like if you...
Controversial.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, because the only way to get better at social interaction is to go out and interact socially. Like, you're not going to be able to get better at it by staying alone. And
not everybody's cup is filled up by social interactions, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like Leah is, I would say, more extroverted than myself. Mm-hmm. Social interactions for her fill her cup up. Social interactions for me, I'm not going to say they empty my cup, but it's at best like a baseline neutral. I enjoy the friends that I have. I enjoy doing things with them. Large social gatherings, my life is neither made better or worse by attending or not attending them. So I think it starts with probably knowing yourself and actually kind of managing that too. Because if you are truly introverted and you are forcing yourself to go out into situations like this, I could actually see that leading to this type of behavior. You kind of don't want to be there in the first place. Yeah. You don't like the social interaction. You don't have a lot of practice. But then still that I would say, if people are calling you stupid to your face, fuck those people and just go find a different crew.
Yeah, that's the
Find
other
a
thing.
different crew.
Yeah.
What would it take for somebody, what would they have to do for you to say, hey, you're stupid?
It would take a lot because I just wouldn't say that to somebody, unless they were, I'm trying to think. They would have to like.
What if they try to convince you the earth was flat?
I don't know if I would call them stupid. I would argue with them.
What would your argument be? First off, have you looked into it?
into flat Earth.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or have you looked into the globe Earth? What have you actually even looked into? Or are you just sitting over there on a throne of lies?
No. I mean, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos of people debunking flat Earth.
It is amazing to me how YouTube has become this arbiter of truth. And
Yeah.
some of the videos are spectacular. And let's
Very
just
good.
say not all content creation is equal. There are people who are legitimately doctors,
Yeah.
like PhD, not MD, and actually even MDs out there cranking out content. I think that they are speaking from an excellent position of authority. And then there are dudes in their basement.
Who just have a camera and an internet connection. Yeah.
How much have you looked into the flat or round Earth?
I mean, not a whole lot because I know that. I guess I shouldn't say
Do you know or do you believe?
I know, but
Let's be careful with our language. Do you know or do you believe?
I believe that the Earth is round. And I know you're playing devil's advocate here.
You don't know shit. Have you
I
seen
do
the
know.
latest controversy in the flat Earth community?
The guy that's taking the people to Antarctica.
Correct.
Yeah.
Showed them the 24-hour sun
Yeah.
when they had vehemently argued against that it was possible. As somebody who's been to Antarctica and
Yeah.
the sun did not go down. And I was on Union Glacier, which is where they went as well. And I guess one of the arguing points now is that Union Glacier is not technically Antarctica.
Of course.
Even though it is squarely on the continent of Antarctica, maybe it's inside of the ice wall, and that's why the
of course. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The sun did not go down. They give you, when they assign you your tent that you stay in, there's a little welcome kit on that with a fucking eye mask because it's the sun's up.
It's just always up. Yeah.
And it's wild because you'll be up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you'll think it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's insane. Yeah.
There's no metric for when nighttime is.
Yeah. Time is kind of, you're thrown off because there's no day-night cycle.
That was a rough one for those guys down there, I think. I think they had to have a little bit of cognitive gear grinding.
Yeah.
But I also feel like by the time they got on the airplane home, they had already figured out a way to explain it
Well,
away.
that's the thing with especially flat Earth, but a lot of cult-like belief systems is like no matter what you show people.
Are you saying flat earthers or cults?
I mean, not technically, but
Let's be precise with our language. What do you actually feel?
It has
Take a
the
stance on how you feel.
markings of a cult.
What are the criteria for something to be a cult?
Blind belief is a big one.
What else is there? That's actually not one of the 5 criteria, but go
Okay,
ahead.
well, technically, no. Let's see, it's like uniform.
Correct.
A shared
A charismatic leader,
charismatic leader,
special meeting place,
special meeting place,
special vernacular,
terms.
terms,
Okay, yeah.
uniform.
Okay.
And often one of the linking factors for cults is a dietary restriction.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know
How many
that.
of those criteria does jiu-jitsu meet?
4.
You've never had acai?
I mean, I have, but I don't strictly eat acai.
You know what I mean? Though there's
Yeah,
a portion of it. I would say all 5.
Okay.
Yeah, but so does religion, right? And if you look at it, you're like, shit.
A lot of organized.
I think baseball fits
Yeah,
into that
exactly,
criteria. I
exactly,
think rugby fits into that criteria. Yeah, so that one you kind of got to sweep aside because it applies to almost everything. I was just making sure that you didn't know what you were talking about, which has proven to be true
No,
again.
well, I never know what I'm talking about. I just say things. I don't even. You derailed me on that one. What were we talking about? Flat
I
Earth,
derailed you with knowledge.
if that's what you want to call it.
You were talking about the cult-like beliefs.
Oh,
Somehow tied to flat Earth, and I asked you if you thought they were a cult.
I mean, not technically, but they behave as if it's a cult. And I think you could take them up in a like a rocket or like up to the space station.
Which has happened. We showed the video of the homemade rocket man. Parachute was stayed on the old launch pad.
Yeah.
That was a rough touchdown on the way
That
back.
was very rough. But they could see with their own eyes the globe, and they would still find a way. They would say, nope, the window was curved, and so
or
there's
fisheye lens or stuff
yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
And so you can't argue with these or debate with these people because they're not open to changing their stance.
Is it even worth then engaging in conversation with somebody who is unwilling to at least critically view their belief system?
I think for a little bit, just to kind of prod and see how far you can push their beliefs. But at a certain point, when you realize that it's useless, you have to say, okay, this isn't worth my time because I'm getting nowhere here. And then at that point, I usually just go, okay, and just give up trying to prove a point because it's not worth it.
I found an interesting technique. I haven't used that often, but it has worked every time that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for a conversation or whatever it may be, but for somebody who's really passionate about a particular belief system and they want to, sometimes it works with politics. I was actually doing this in 2024. You can tell they really want to talk about something that's passionate to them. Totally get it.
Yep.
And I'll actually open with, is there anything that I could say or show you that is capable of changing how you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, they'll say no.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, you have an understanding of the time you are about to put in and what you might actually get out of it. That's a wild feeling, though.
Yeah,
Do you have anything in your life? I mean, I can ask this to myself too. Is there anything in my life that I believe so deeply that I am unwilling to at least observe and critically think about that may change how I feel? I don't think I have any belief that is that concrete. I'm at least open and willing to hearing what somebody has to say. That doesn't mean I'm going to believe them. It doesn't mean they're going to change my mind. But I don't know of anything I am so concrete in my beliefs that I would be unwilling to at least view from a different perspective.
I do have one that I've tried to view from a different perspective, and I simply cannot accept that this is okay.
Okay.
The like the argument that pedophilia is okay.
I actually knew you were going to say that because as you were saying that, I was thinking about it. No, I tell you what, actually on that one, I agree.
Yeah.
I cannot fathom how an objective and logical mind would ever even be willing to engage in a conversation of how sexual abuse of a minor, because what did they try to change it to? Minor attracted person?
Yeah.
How about get fucked?
How about fuck you?
Yeah.
That? Yeah.
I mean, that's just a vernacular game, right? They're trying to
make it sound more acceptable.
I don't know exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to skirt around the actual issue.
Yeah.
If you want to call yourself a minor attracted person, as long as in the dictionary that has an equal sign to pedophile, then we're talking about the same thing.
Talking about the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, I cannot fathom anybody who could ever try to argue for the validity or legitimacy of that. And I would like to put this out there again. I am willing to offer my services to skin pedophiles with a potato peeler. I'll drag it out. We could do medical intervention to try to have them last as long as humanly possible.
Yeah.
I am willing. I will do it for free.
That sounds like a good deal.
I think it's a great deal.
People could make use of that service.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
That's the rough part. Unfortunately, they probably could make use of that service. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I just can't see an angle to approach that one.
No.
And maybe there's other ones out there that I'm not thinking about off the top of my head. But for that one, as you were saying that, I was thinking, yeah, I bet I know where he's going with this. All right.
Yeah.
We strayed off.
Yeah, that was a...
That's okay.
That's okay, though, yeah.
What advice do you have for a young man or woman when it comes to making friends and being in a social environment in general? I mean, that's kind of the crux of, I'm having some trouble making friends and being social in general. What advice would you give somebody? You're younger in life, to your generation, what would you say?
I mean, it does go back to, you just have to be comfortable with yourself, and
it's not an easy thing to do, though, when you're raised in this competitive environment of look at me, look what I have, look what I did.
Yeah. But if you're not comfortable with yourself, it's going to be very difficult to even go up and talk to somebody without thinking, oh, I'm going to look like an idiot. I'm going to say something stupid. All these things that go through your head, when in reality, like, just go up and start talking, and if you find a commonality with that person, you can just go down that rabbit hole. And it's like, I would say at the very least, you have to start to be comfortable with who you are.
Yeah. I only got to add one thing. When you said go into a social circle and you just start talking, I will say you got 2 ears and one mouth. Use them in that ratio.
Yes.
Don't try to overwhelm or be overbearing in the conversation. And before, like if you're in a group of new people, before you jump in, just listen a bit. You know what I mean? I'd find the natural time and break to interact.
Don't force it.
Well, if you do force it, you might end up with people looking at you like, hey, man, you're acting pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of wild hypotheses we have to make here and conjecture with this, but that I have found can help too. I look at it from a social perspective of being in these environments. Which person generally interests me more? The person who's dominating the conversation or the person who is listening to the conversation and picks and chooses their time to actually become involved? And the things that they say less, but the things that they're saying are more impactful and more meaningful.
I can tell you which one is more endearing.
Which one?
The guy who's not talking as much.
I actually think the person who's not talking as much is more endearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But in addition, that's the person I'm more likely, I think, to listen to because they're sitting there and they're considering what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're understanding the social cues. They're waiting for the appropriate time, and they're okay with not dominating the conversation.
Yeah.
That's the person who's more comfortable in their skin.
Yeah, for sure.
Or actually, they could be just perhaps more introverted as well. But
Yeah.
I would say take it slow. And if you find yourself in a social circle that just doesn't seem to be treating you in the way that you want to be treated, just go find another one.
Yeah, maybe get out.
Yeah. It's one of the things about the Flat Earth community, which maybe I spend a little bit too much time making fun of. And I don't want to make fun of anybody for their beliefs, but I've said this before too. When watching some of those documentaries, they have gatherings, they have get-togethers, they have seminars, I guess would be a good word for it.
Yeah.
The people that are there are really enthusiastic about being there,
Yeah.
and they're there with their friends, and they're kind of connecting over a belief that most people would say is a little bit fringe. But I think it's more about the community aspect of
Yeah,
everything.
and I think that applies to a lot of groups
Yeah.
with a similar belief system.
Yeah, and so there's a group out there for you. Am I saying go join the Flat Earth community? If you want to.
If you want to, just
Yes.
be prepared for even more ridicule.
From outside of that community.
Yes.
But that community will
Inside
put up,
that community, I'm sure
they'll
it's very
put up
tight-knit.
walls. Yeah. It'll be like
Yeah.
the Vatican, 40 footers. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you ever see the Mission Impossible where Tom Cruise went over the Vatican wall?
No, I haven't seen any Mission Impossible movie.
Really?
Yeah.
You could spend a day going through, I think number 8's getting ready to come out. I think it's called The Final Reckoning.
So is it going to be the final movie or?
Probably depends on how it does at the box office. Might be the final reckoning.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is cranking out some movies that
He really is.
Yeah.
Speaking of belief systems.
Oh my God. My Lord. I just did on Change Agents interview with David Miscavige's niece.
Oh, wow.
So his brother's daughter, all of which have left Scientology. Fascinating is a gentle and polite word for it.
Yeah, I might actually listen to that one.
She has an e-meter, and she asked if she could come to an episode where she audits me on the e-meter, which I was like, fuck
That
yes.
would be awesome.
I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Because it's 2/3 of a lie detector test. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'll tell people anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Today's episode is brought to you by Mando. They make deodorant, people. I'm 47 years old. I had not tried spray deodorant until earlier this year. Actually, I take that back. It was in late 2024 when the product showed up. I don't know why. I thought stick deodorant was the only way to go. It's not. Mando, they make some pretty awesome stuff that you can take anywhere and use anytime, and it's for your entire body. I have this in actually my laptop bag. This is their acidified deodorant wipes. And sometimes after jiu-jitsu, you don't have a lot of time to take a shower, but you don't have to be gross. You can clean yourself up a little bit, and that's actually how I have been using those. So specifically, what is Mando? I'm going to dive right into some of these talking points. It is whole body deodorant. These are the points or the bullet points that they said I could use. Pits, balls, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, and feet. Their words, not mine. I haven't tried them on all those locations, but you feel free to go ahead. You party how you like to party. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how BO, or body odor, was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. That's pretty awesome, actually, especially if you're pressed on time, or maybe if you're traveling and you forgot almost everything, but you're able to throw one of these bad boys in your travel kit. All the products are baking soda free and paraben free. And there are a variety of fresh scents like bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. I don't know how you bottle a Mountain, but it does smell good. That's actually the spray deodorant that I use. I highly recommend that you check them out. And Mando's starter pack is the perfect place to start for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant for those of you who were stuck in the Stone Age like myself. a cream tube of deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes, and free shipping. So as a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off the starter pack with the exclusive code I'm about to give you. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack using code ClearedHot at shopmando.com. That is shopmando, shopmando.com. Please support the show and let them know that I sent you there. Again, that is shopmando.com using the code ClearedHot. You're going to smell fresher, which is a good thing. Nobody wants to walk around smelling like ass. Go get you some. Let me see. Let me check the third question because we got... Okay. We talked a little bit about the military the first time we did one of these. Yeah. And I was just kind of more curious to get your thoughts on like recruiting and things of that. This has a little bit more to do with internal workings of the not internal workings of the military, but maybe we'll call it a philosophy associated with the military. So I'm going to read this. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this because I understand what this person is asking about, but I'm curious from somebody who wasn't in the military if you think that this concept is ridiculous or you think that it has utility. Okay. It's nothing crazy. Okay. I was having a conversation with my brothers-in-law. One's a retired Coastie, so Coast Guard. The other one's in the Air Force Reserve. And we were debating the current state of the military, which you and I kind of talked about on the last one. We all agreed that standards and accountability need to make a comeback. But the real question is, how do we get there? I pitched that the key is refocusing on operational standards with real capability and training validation to ensure the right people are in the right role. So they're talking about realistic training based off the demands of, downstream planning from the demands of the actual job itself, right? Okay. This actually, I'm just explaining to you that portion of the question because where we're going next is where I'm curious how you feel about this. So operational standards, right? That is, what are the standards that each of the branches and each of the units inside of the military, what do they actually need to be able to do? What's their job? What are they designed to do? Real capability would be the ability to execute those operational standards. Training validation, meaning you're doing training evolutions that actually directly tie to...
Okay, I see.
It's like if you're... I don't know anything about being on a battleship, and I know they're decommissioned, but let's say you were on a battleship and, hey, you need to be able to hit shit with your guns.
Yeah.
But instead you go do a training exercise where... I don't know, you're doing Morse code signaling or something like that. One does not necessarily have to do with the other.
Yeah. Okay.
So training that is realistic in nature and helps validate the operational standards and capability.
Okay.
One of them argued that the recent emphasis on dress and appearance standards isn't just a distraction. It's actually the first step towards restoring accountability. So here's my question. What they're talking about is emphasis on small things, military uniforms. You'd be shocked at the regulations. Your ribbons have to be 1/4 of an inch above and centered over your left breast pocket with your warfare insignia either above or below that, the gig line on your belt, how your belt buckle aligns with your zipper.
So everything basically.
Yeah. So I'm just giving you some examples. Okay. So here's the question. Do you think the focus on uniform and appearance changes is just a cosmetic distraction from real issues like readiness and competence? Or could it be the foundation for rebuilding discipline and accountability across the force? And if you were king for a day, how would you prioritize tasks to fix the current state of the military capability and accountability? What do you think, Michael? Should we be focusing on things that go bang and boom? Or do you start at an individual level? And I'll broadly say what this person is talking about is attention to detail.
Yeah. Well, I think you need to me, it seems like it would be good to start at that attention to detail level because if that's not set, then you're building everything else on a shoddy base.
Yes.
And if you have a shit foundation, then everything above that is going to be shit.
Do you have a contractor's license? Have
No.
you ever built anything?
I have actually poured a foundation, though.
Was it a good one?
It was really bad.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, have you heard of the broken windows theory?
Refresh me. I might have.
So it's, do you know who Malcolm Gladwell is?
Yes.
So he wrote a book, and I don't think...
He's written many books. His books are good. Yeah.
Really good books. I don't know if he came up with this theory, but basically there was a study that it was about like graffiti in New York subways. And they, instead of trying to crack down on the like actual people doing the graffiti, they went back like 5 steps and started repairing all of the like stalls that were out of use, boarding or undoing the boarded windows and putting nice windows up and making everything look very nice. And from that, the graffiti and the crime and the stall jumping for not paying tickets went down drastically.
Really?
Yes. And so it's like, okay, well, the environment is actually affecting the way people are behaving at that point. And so once you fix the environment, people's behavior starts to become better. And so this isn't obviously the exact same thing, but I think it goes for the same thing in the military, or, I mean, I don't know, but I would assume once you start focusing on the smaller things, like your ribbons being in the right spot and your belt and all that stuff.
And don't get me wrong, though, it's irritating and it's annoying and it takes time.
Yeah.
But there's a purpose for why they have you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever heard the saying, how you do anything is how you do everything?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking of that saying as you were talking. Yeah.
So here's my experience with this. The focus, I think both things need to be true. There needs to be a focus on operational standards, capability, and training validation. That is true. So, and this is, I think, an instance of where both things can be and need to be true. Like at a level, to me, my personal opinion on the military is it exists to execute the foreign policy of the United States of America and to defend our interests in the world. It needs to focus on its lethality, capability, efficiency, deployability, all of those things. Okay. But how do you do that in a military force that's comprised of just over 1 million people? I look back to Navy boot camp, which was 8 weeks when I went through, and it was up in Great Lakes. The amount of time that we spent, I'll use the term mastering, marching as a large boot camp division, and the verbal cues that you could do to go left and right and split and all of these things, and the amount of time that we spent preparing for the graduation, how you made your bed, hospital corners, and you didn't get to choose how you made a hospital corner. Yeah. You were shown exactly how to do it, and then you had to do it like that every time. The way that you fold your T-shirts, the way that you fold your underwear, the way that they have to align themselves in your foot locker, which is, naval vernacular for a storage area. Yeah. How you had your uniform, whether or not you shaved that day. They would rather have you bleeding on your face than have, I'm not joking, than have stubble. I distinctly remember, because they would do barracks and uniform and personal inspections, I distinctly remember people saying, well, they can't ding you for bleeding when it came to shaving their face. And I remember thinking, I don't know if that's true. But there's, and you had to understand and know history of the military, the general orders, vernacular. And that is just the initial entry into just the Navy. And I'm sure each military has their own, well, I know each military has their own boot camp. Yeah. I'd say it's their own flavor or version of that. Then you go into BUDS, right? Which people think is this high-speed program where you're a SEAL at the end of it, which you're not. It's a crucible, and you learn fourth grade tactics, but every Monday, room inspection. Yeah. I mean, as an instructor, you're looking for grains of sand. You're looking for dust in places that people wouldn't even think to clean. And for them to even get close to passing, they are sacrificing their entire weekend to clean. Yeah. We're talking buffing floors, walking around barefoot or only in your socks, T-shirts and socks underneath the legs of the tables, underneath it's insane. Starched uniform hat, which every time we see that, we're going to tell you to go get wet and sandy. So you ask yourself as a student, why am I expected to do this? Why are we doing this? And it all comes back to attention to detail. We're checking the sharpness of their knife, their CO2 cartridges. Is there any rust on it whatsoever? As if anybody's getting into a fucking knife fight on in a BUDS ocean swim. And again, it's probably more likely going to be for cutting material or something like that if you needed to. But every single evolution had standards that from the outside might be considered completely and utterly ridiculous. And people, they would be justified if they haven't lived through it to say, why are you doing that? Yeah. And the answer is attention to detail. And like you said, if you build anything on a foundation that is rocky or substandard, you can't expect what you build on top of that. How can you expect somebody at an operational level, focusing on real capability and training validation. How can you have complicated training exercise that is designed towards operational standards if the individuals responsible for taking those actions are no longer being held accountable for their attention to detail?
Yeah.
What does it matter if my uniform doesn't look good? You can extrapolate that upstream to
Yeah.
You're a mechanic on an airplane. Like this 1/4-inch socket fits. It fits okay. Do I really need to go back and get the exact one that's designated for this particular bolt on an F-18? Not that I know shit about an F-18 or whether or not they even use bolts. I'm assuming they do. And instead, maybe they horsepower it on there, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you get away with it, maybe you don't. Maybe it leads to a catastrophic accident. Hopefully the pilot ejects, but an aircraft worth tens of millions of dollars is now at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
We can work that all the way back to attention to detail.
Yeah.
Military life is not the easiest life. It's also not the hardest life either. And there's a lot of benefit that comes from it. And people who come out of the military, especially those who can grasp how you do anything is how you do everything, this attention to detail, you can demolish other people and their maximum work effort with minimal effort on your own.
Yeah.
Because you understand the importance of doing things sequentially, being on time, showing up at the right place, at the right time, with the right equipment.
Yeah.
So I think it's both, but discipline starts at that micro level, at least in my opinion. I always fuck this one up. I think it's McCraven. He gave the make your bed every morning speech.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So is it a college graduation? Commencement speech, I believe they call it. I wouldn't know because I've never been to one or attended a single day of higher education because I am an idiot. So he gave this speech about, when you get up in the morning, make your bed. The first thing you do every day is make your bed. And I bet you parents rejoiced and showed that to their kids. And I think it's possible to miss the overarching point there. And that is actually start your day with something that is disciplined.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you make your bed, and I've done this so many times, you make your bed in the morning and you come back, like whatever, your day gets out of control and you come back and you're exhausted. It's so nice to just be able to throw the covers back and just get in bed and go to sleep. Yeah. Versus you don't make your bed in the morning and then maybe you had a pile of laundry that you pulled out, put it in a hamper and you dumped it onto your bed. Yeah. Instead of folding it and putting it away then you go live your day, which turns into a shit show and you come back and there's clothes all over your bed. Yeah. And you just want to go to sleep. So the move there obviously is just kick it all off into the floor and deal with it later. Yeah. I think it was either Jocko or Goggins that said, never do today what you can put off until tomorrow. I think. It was one of those two. So
I live my life by that saying.
Yeah. You know how many people do live their life by that saying?
Yeah, it's
I'm
crazy.
as guilty of this as anybody else, by the way, too. I'm just
sure.
talking about that value of discipline. It's not about making your bed. It's about making a decision to do something that is disciplined at it's super small. It's at a micro level. Yeah. But what if you pair another micro thing on top? Okay, so you make your bed, then you go and you slam a glass of water. You're working on your hydration because people don't know this. You wake up relatively dehydrated because you're inhaling and exhaling all night long, right? The body, water's escaping. Then, maybe do some meal prep or whatever it is. You can start building momentum on these little things. And it's the same thing with military service. If you're going to have young men and women, which most people, there's a lot of people in the military who are in their late teens and early 20s in roles that are highly consequential, they have to understand the value of accountability, discipline, and that starts at that level of when you onboard into the military. So yes, fucking 20-minute answer to this person's question. Yeah. It's absolutely essential, but both things need to be true. It needs to be on both sides, at the strategic and operational level and at the individual onboarding level. If I was king for a day to answer that question, I think I would strip away everything that doesn't have directly to do with standards. What is the military? What is it designed to do? What does it exist for? That's our target. Everything that we do, we start planning backwards, which would align directly with what I've been saying. That's the discipline, the accountability, the onboarding and boot camp, all of those things. That's what I would work it back towards. And I actually got it. Do you know Rory Singer, one of the Singer brothers?
Oh, I think I've met him before.
They're black belts out of Georgia. He sent me a voice message this morning. He was asking about, he was listening to a podcast and it essentially said, do we need to have a military that is reflective of society in the United States? And what I think he means is like, if you were to take a snapshot picture of the military, would it look similar to a snapshot picture of society? And I was thinking about it. And my answer to that, and what I wrote back to him was, if we have a military that visually is reflective of society, cool. But that should not be, we shouldn't be aiming towards that. If we aim towards our standards and work our way back and it ends up looking like that, awesome.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't end up looking like that, I don't have an issue with that either.
Yeah, as long as standards are met.
As long as standards are met. So I don't think we should be targeting it looking exactly like our society. We should be targeting looking at from the perspective of what is the actual role and responsibility. And if it does align with that, awesome.
Great. Yeah.
What people hate to hear, but is completely and utterly true, is that not all human beings are created equal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Not everybody is going to be able to play in the NBA or be a professional athlete. Not everybody's going to be able to get into an Ivy League school. Not everybody's going to be able to qualify for the military. Even inside of the military, not everybody's going to be able to qualify for whatever role that they want to. And that's just the way that the cookie crumbles.
Yes.
So I'm all about equality of opportunity. I think focusing on equality of outcome is ridiculous and a path to it's just a path to destruction. But you'd be surprised how many people would argue for just as much equality of outcome. And I don't understand it. I mean, whatever, they can have their beliefs. I have my own. But yeah, it starts at that individual level.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
What do you, your generation, younger generation, outside of the military, how much do you guys talk about discipline and accountability?
Not at all. Like zero.
Interesting.
With one or two of my friends, we're very much on the same page of basically taking accountability for your actions, attention to detail, all this stuff. I was fortunate that my parents enforced that my whole life. I have a story. We were stacking wood because we had a wood burning stove.
Very Montana story.
Very
so
Montana,
far.
yeah. Were
wild horses running by and
no, we did have donkeys in the yard though, or in the pasture.
That is not the same thing.
I know, similar.
You had ass.
We had lots of ass.
So you're just slaying ass in this story.
Yeah. No, but we're stacking wood, and me and my brothers,
of which there are far too many shell type.
There are 3.
Yeah.
And we are doing a shit job. We're just throwing it in there.
How old are you guys?
I was probably 10, so we're all younger than that.
Fuck yeah.
And
just trying to get it done.
Just trying to get it done. And it was cold outside. It was fucking cold. And so we're almost done. We're like to the last couple pieces of wood. And Dad comes by. He goes, "What's this?" And we were like, "Well, we're just stacking it." And he goes, "All right." He goes in there. He throws every piece out. He goes, "All right, do it again." And we're just like,
that's rough at that age.
Bro, yeah, at that age, I was like, I hate you. Why would you ever do that?
I will hate you for the remainder of my life. You will never be on my good side ever again.
But then looking back, it's like, wow, that actually, because that sticks in my mind a lot, and not in a bad way.
Here's something that I try to reinforce to all 3 of my kids. And I think this might go into the one ear category and out the other. It actually takes longer to do things wrong.
Yeah.
Because you end up redoing it. Like you just explained. Had you just stacked it, you'd be inside.
You would be inside.
But by doing it wrong, then you have to take the time to fix the mistake. And the doing it wrong is almost always pitched through the lens of, or it's not pitched through the lens. It is justified through the lens of trying to save time. Yeah. It'll be faster if we just do this until you realize you're going to have to do it again.
Yeah.
It's almost always quicker just to do it right. As much as it drives you nuts, it'll save you the time of having to do it over and over again.
That was a constant saying on the Shelton household. Do it right the first time.
I think it was Tyler once. I've had this conversation with him, and it was about, what are you supposed to do when the toilet paper roll is empty in the bathroom? Right? Let's talk about doing it right the first time.
Yeah.
Take the fucking toilet paper roll with you to grab a new one and throw it out on the way.
Yeah.
Right? It's a trip, one trip
Yeah.
versus 2. He messed around with, I'm not going to do that. And I'm also not going to take the time to store any more toilet paper, because I would tell him, hey, when you leave, take the empty roll and grab 2 more. You're always going to be set up.
Yeah.
Doesn't take any more time. So he kept only grabbing 1. And I remember hearing him inside of his bathroom with the door closed. Dad, I'm out of toilet paper. Can you get me some?
Yeah.
And I said, no, son, I can't.
You're on your own.
Because we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Every time that your and at that point, there was probably 4 empty toilet paper rolls.
Yeah.
One behind the toilet, one on, and like,
Of course.
he will. So there's the roll. He'll jam another empty roll down next to it, then make a pyramid with the 3rd empty roll, and then put a fucking roll of toilet paper on top of that, which will fall off and end up on the floor somewhere.
That's awesome.
None of those are indicators or warning signs to him that, hey, maybe he should just
We're getting a little low here.
yeah, or just throw all this away and grab some more. So I took great pleasure in listening to him. I think it was for about 5 to 10 minutes. Dad. And I'm just waiting for him to solve it on his own.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, you got socks, you got a t-shirt on. How much do you like? Let's solve the issue. There's a rug in your bathroom.
yeah.
Just do it right the first time.
Yeah, that's I agree.
Yeah. I don't know how we got on the topic.
I don't know either, but
That was one of my more prouder parenting moments. All right. A lot of us, let me see. I'm currently struggling with motivation and, more importantly, in confidence and financial concerns. Those issues affect all areas of my life, but I'm moving, and moving really fucking sucks. I agree, especially local moves. Local moves are worse than long distance moves because it never ends. No. On top of the problems above my OCD is a huge hurdle I need to overcome: the logistics of moving. I'm a single dude in my 40s who struggles asking for help. I'm only moving from one apartment to another. Oh, man, so it's a local move.
Yeah.
I'm able to live in the new place, and it's quite comfortable and clean. However, the opposite is true for my old place. Right now, I've got almost all of the heavy stuff moved, but it's still riddled with random shit. So some of it I'll keep, and some of it I'll donate or throw away. To be clear, it's about 15 years of accumulated shit from outdoor gear, random tools, and stuff I thought I'd find a use for, as well as general household items. I realize this doesn't seem to be a significant problem from the outside, but I'm not on the outside. Whenever I enter the old place, I shut down and end up just ignoring the mess until I find an excuse to leave. I have until the end of February to finish this. So where are we at? This comes out on the 13th. You're going to have some time. Hopefully this helps. I'm hoping you can share your thoughts on how I can tackle this, and hopefully others can apply the same process to problems they may be experiencing.
Okay.
Local move. 50. I mean, there's actually a couple ways that I want to hit this one with.
Yeah.
And this is one that Leah doesn't listen to the show often. And I think I've said this, so I'm comfortable saying this. I'll throw stuff away when she's not home.
Yeah.
The accumulation of stuff in your life is amazing. You fall back to the great philosopher Brad Pitt. The things that you own end up owning you, in Movie Fight Club, which I doubt you've seen. And it's so true. If you don't throw things away, you will be buried at some point in your life in your own pile of bullshit that you thought was going to have value and never did.
Yeah.
And if you want to crush yourself even more emotionally, just look at it from the cost and the money expenditure of all those things that you thought you were going to use and you weren't, and how much more beneficial if that money was sitting in your bank account or an investment account.
Yeah.
Yeah. Local move. One place is a shit show, Michael. The other place is looking pretty good. What are your thoughts?
I know exactly what he's talking about, actually. So, yeah, I've actually moved like 3 times in the last year and a half.
Yeah, but you also do like an extensive amount of house sitting, so I don't even know if you can call that moving.
Oh, no, I move my shit.
Do you move your shit into the other person's house?
Yeah, right now I have it in the house. Because it's like for 4 months.
Why don't you just use their stuff?
Well, because I need my clothes.
I mean, other than your clothes.
Yeah, I don't move everything. I just move my clothes and my guitar, pretty much.
I didn't know you played guitar.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing?
Quite a while, but it's been off and on.
Are you any good?
I am approaching mediocre.
I don't even know what that means from a guitar perspective. But again, tell me about these, because you're like a busy bee. You're all over the valley.
Yeah, I really am.
So actually, wanted ad, Michael is looking for a girlfriend and also a place to house sit. I feel like both are acceptable.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to recommend not finding both of those in the same place.
sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I know exactly what you're going through. So for the clutter, right? Because I had that when I first moved out of my, what's it called? When it's basically just a room and a kitchen, studio
Okay.
apartment. I took a trash bag and I started at like one corner of the house, just went through everything and said, do I need this? Nope. And I was very generous with what I didn't need.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, I can just buy another one.
Do you have
I
a
need this?
criteria
No.
that you use?
If it's less than $10,
I go with every 6 months. If I haven't touched this in
Yeah.
6 months,
that's also a good one.
what is the
Yeah.
likelihood that I need to continue
Yep.
having this?
Yep. And I threw away probably 2 or 3 trash bags worth of stuff because I was like, I don't need this. And if I ever do need it, it's like $3. And I don't want to move it because it's just another thing.
Yeah.
And even though it's small, like maybe it was a dish brush or something, that an extra one I had. Nope, don't need it.
1 is none, 2 is 1.
Exactly. Well, I found that out when I moved into the next place and I needed the dish brush.
What happened to the dish brush you had? You said that was the extra one.
Yeah, I don't know. It was gone. So, but I still I was like annoyed in the moment, but I was like, honestly, it saved me hassle throwing all of that shit away. So, but yeah, the local moves suck. But you just need to get down to it. Put a podcast on, put some headphones in,
Yeah.
and you literally just need to do the work.
There's
Take
that.
a weekend and do it.
Yeah. There's also a way that you can kind of mentally approach this that I think will help people. I've talked about this one a bunch. It's just called, chunking your goals.
Yeah.
Not my creation by any stretch, but something that has helped me a lot in my life. If you go into the number of times I've moved is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And local moves truly are the worst because you just back and forth.
Yes.
Okay, it's gonna be two more trips, and then it's 6. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
I cannot get this
sucks.
to end. So, what he is describing is becoming overwhelmed. So instead of
yeah.
going into the apartment and looking at every single room, what I would say for you is to set a very targeted goal and decide on something small that you're going to do. Go in, accomplish it, and get out of there, and then set another goal.
Yep.
Go in, accomplish it, get out of there. Go in, accomplish it. If you just go in there and you look at everything,
It's overwhelming.
it is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And that's why people give up on things.
Yeah.
That's actually why they give up on their goals of becoming a SEAL or making it through training. It's how they view where they are in life and the distance to where they think they need to be to achieve their goal. And in this case, you're looking at the entire apartment. Everybody has a different tolerance when it comes to biting off what they can chew. So you could say, go in and just finish the kitchen, and then we'll leave it at that for the day. Or then readdress your goal. Go in, do the bathroom. Go in, do 1 bedroom. But just don't view it from, I have to do the entire apartment. This does come out February, what is the day today? 12th. This comes out the 14th, which is Valentine's Day. What are you doing for Valentine's Day, Michael?
Nothing.
If somebody wanted to send you a Valentine, where would they send it?
Nope. No.
No, what?
Don't send me anything.
What if they wanted you to be their Valentine?
No. The answer is no.
To everybody?
Yes.
To the world. The answer to the world is no, I won't be your Valentine.
Yes.
That's a sad existence.
It's not permanent, but right now the answer is no.
Unbelievable.
Why are we talking about this?
I don't know, because this comes out on Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You're going to have 28 days in February. Last time I checked, except for leap years, they add a day in Feb, right? I don't think it's a leap year.
I don't think so.
So you're going to have 2 weeks. Dude, you can knock an apartment out in 2 weeks. Spend an hour a day. So there's another way you can look at it too. Go for 1 hour and get done what you can get done in 1 hour, but you have to make sure you're working during that time period. I guarantee you're going to be done.
Yeah.
And you can pair that with, okay, I'm going to do an hour in the kitchen. Get out of there.
Yeah.
Work, get out of there. The next day you're not done, an hour in the kitchen, and then move on, and I think you'll be okay. Being overwhelmed sucks. I've been there so many times, and I hate to say this too, it's totally optional because you can reframe how you view your goals, and you can completely control how you're thinking about it. Your brain, if it's anything like mine, will keep trying to slip back towards this like, oh, this is too much.
Yeah.
We should probably give up. Don't you have something better to do? Isn't there something on Instagram that you need to be looking at as opposed to being just fight? You're your own worst enemy. I think everybody kind of is.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, chunk it into something that is digestible. That's the best advice I can give. It works in almost every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Works in jiu-jitsu, right? You 5-minute roll.
Yeah.
Let's say you're getting absolutely smashed. One of the worst things that you can do is actually look over at the clock to see how much time you have left. Because the only conversation you're going to have in your head is, how long can I tolerate this for?
Yeah.
Just make it through the moment.
Yeah, dude. Like, you just, I mean, I have gotten better about that, of just continuing, like, even when I'm getting smashed.
Yeah.
Just keep being defensive, keep looking for those opportunities.
If you start looking for the clock, you are in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Then you know, you've already given up at that point. Yeah.
Well, you're looking for a reason to
not
surrender.
Fight. Yes.
You're looking for a reason to surrender.
Yep. Like, oh, there's only 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
I won't do anything.
There's 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. This really sucks. Let's just move on and do something else. Or fight your way out of it, or survive.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Road trips. You know, you can look at it and do a 500-mile road trip and count, or, you know, and have your little GPS up that says 499 more to go, 498 more to go. Or you could turn that thing off and just drive and enjoy the drive.
Yep.
You know, or chunk it into, set your GPS up for it's 100 miles and you do it 100 miles at a shot. It's actually incredible the impact that it has on things that seem unachievable that can become very achievable. And the only thing you're changing is how you view it.
Yeah. You're just chunking into smaller pieces.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I've also found that if you start doing something, you will keep yourself busy. Like for housework or something, or like if I have laundry and dishes and whatever else.
The trifecta.
And if I just start doing something, at the end of one task, I'll automatically just switch to another task, as opposed to if I keep putting off, I'll never do anything. So if you just start doing something.
Never do today what you can put off until tomorrow.
So true.
Yeah.
But yeah, just you honestly just do have to get after it for that moving.
Very Jocko of you.
Yeah, I guess that is a Jocko quote, but
yeah. Do you have any more reasonable terms that you could use? Something for people down the middle of the road?
just start doing it.
Yeah.
Just go.
You're getting after it as the security guard at the coffee shop. What time do you get up in the day?
4.
What time do you go to bed?
8.
Yep. You're basically 70 inside.
Basically. I get 8 hours though. And I notice when I don't get 8 hours.
What happens?
My energy level will drastically drop off around 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
If I don't get 8 hours, like I need to sleep.
You'll auger in.
Yeah. Yep. But if I get 8 hours, I'm good up until 6 or 7. I can start winding down and go to bed at 8.
What's your wind down routine? Do you do like a chamomile tea? Do you have like a chant or a mantra?
I do really like tea actually, but
of course you do. Do you take a bath with like one of those bath bombs?
No. I just read a little bit, go on my phone probably a little bit too much.
Unbelievable.
And then go to bed.
It's not very Sigma of you.
I'm not claiming to be a Sigma male.
I forget you were telling me that Sigma's better than Alpha.
Sigma's the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would love to do a Gen Z terms tour with you and see what you know and don't know, because it's hilarious.
I don't know anything that my daughter doesn't use. She introduces me to the terms slowly, and then I just use them at random intervals in front of her at times that I'm pretty sure are inappropriate to make her uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's so funny.
Yeah. I don't know if there was a large vernacular shift from when I was growing up with my parents. I feel like we largely talked in the same way.
Yeah, I feel like fad words come and go.
Probably.
In terms and such, but
yeah. What else you got for this negligent discharge Friday?
I don't have anything. No, that was good.
Send
questions.
Valentine's to the coffee shop addressed to Michael.
If you're gonna send them anywhere, that's where you would send
addressed to Michael. Yes.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
go for it.
Do you get back to people if they send you a Valentine?
No. Honestly, we'll probably go in the trash.
Piece of shit, dude. All right, that's all I got for this week.
Right, perfect.